what is going on with Liverpool? We need to finish off with Liverpool. I know you're playing tomorrow, and you need that 3 points. You just need a result. It doesn't matter about the performance at the moment. But from your point of view, tell us what's wrong with Liverpool and what's going to happen tomorrow. What do the tactics have to be tomorrow? If you're Klopp tomorrow, what's your speech to that dressing room? Because something needs to change, as per Jurgen Klopp's comments.
A lot needs to change, and I think Klopp needs to take a look at himself, because recently he just stuck with 4-3. It's not working. He just doesn't have the legs in midfield, to make it work. And he's got to do something different. And with Thiago's injury, it could get a lot worse before it gets better. I just hope we get to 40 points, 41, avoid relegation, and and then do a complete reset and buy players, because the FSG model has worked to a certain extent, but 25 million net spend per season. I mean, it's a miracle that what he's done for Liverpool to go Klopp. But now it's kind of run its course, and yeah, Fabinho, he's completely goosed. I mean, I think he's been dropped from the squad. We look bad back to front. No patterns of play, predictable. Our top scorer this season. Two things actually. If you look at the Premier League from 1st of January this year, we're bottom of the league. Our top scorer is that central defender from Leicester City, the Belgian guy. So it's bad. It's really bad. And what more can I say is just hope we avoid relegation and just completely reset. I mean, the Champions League with Real Madrid, if they turn up, miracles do happen. There could be something in that. That's the only way we're probably going to get back in the Champions League, by winning it. But that looks a mile off right now as well. So it's bad. And the only way they're going to change it is they have to refresh the squad. It's just simple as that. A lot of players are old. Van Dijk, since his injury, is not the same. Henderson played 57 games last season, more than Man City. It's a hell of a lot of games. Being close to doing something unprecedented, I think, is drained them out mentally and physically. And it's just one of those things that you just got to say, you know what, this season is just a write-off. Maybe there's something Klopp being there for 7 seasons, hearing the same voice. People get tired of it because they haven't refreshed the squad. Maybe something in that. But I think, whoever's going to be owning it, if it's FSG or their new partners or whoever it is, they're going to have to back them in transfer market, because if they don't, it could get even worse. They have to, because there's about 3 players leaving on free transfers from midfield: Keita, Chamberlain, Milner. So they have to go out and buy players. It's as simple as that. So I don't have much hope, to be honest with you, for this season. Is avoid relegation and then reset in the summer.
What do you do about this first 11 commercial plan? Because you've got a better squad, or a first 11, arguably. Most would argue that Liverpool's first 11 is better than Everton's. So you've got them coming to Anfield tomorrow. So you've got the 12th man as well. You've got one of the best crowds in the league or in world football. They're loud and proud, and they support you. Tomorrow, if you don't win, you're in crisis. What do you do with this system? Because Liverpool fans say, yes, we need support, we need FSG, we need money. I get that. Trust me, I get that as a Spurs fan. You need to reinvest in that squad. But going into tomorrow's game, Merseyside derby, Everton are going to be up. It's going to be Sean Dyche. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be in your face. You're going to have to match them on effort. But in terms of skill and quality, what do you do with the starting 11? Like, do you go with this same 11 that you're seeing on screen?
Well, good question. I think injury is going to dictate. So Thiago's out for 4 weeks. Probably bring back Henderson, Fabinho. You just got to bring them back. Probably drop either Matip or Gomez for Nat Phillips, because you've got to do something different. And then up front, I mean, we've got to go with what we have, because Jota's still a little bit away. Luis Diaz another month away. Firmino, I don't know how close. I think he's another week away. So we just got to go with what we have, and they've got to give it a go. But it's going to be tough either way. We're back at Anfield. I don't see us losing tomorrow. It is a derby. The form goes out the window. I mean, I think we are in crisis mode already. The injuries is a big thing, because you get players back, then more get injured, and it's just stop, start, stop, start. And whether it's the medical department, because there's been some, movement there, people leaving, people coming, maybe Klopp's training methods, right? Because it's so intense, isn't it? And they're picking up muscle injuries a lot of the time. They got to start looking at that as well. So there's a lot of things about. I don't have much hope, to be honest with you. Just avoid relegation, and then we just have to reset in the summer. It's gonna be a tough game tomorrow because obviously you got Liverpool fans, Sean Dyche leading the Toffees. They're gonna be up for it, and he's got them. Probably he's had a bit more time to get them well drilled, be more solid. So it's gonna be tough, but yeah, I mean, up front again. Salah has been off the boil. Nunez been hit and miss. Cody Gakpo, I'm not sure what he's about. I don't know what he actually brings. Doesn't have the pace. It's not looking great.
VJ, do you is Klopp in crisis? B, should he be sacked tomorrow if they don't win? And C, what do you do with this first 11? Because I tell you what, if I had Mohamed Salah, if I had Darwin Nunez, if I had Gakpo, you know what I mean, Robertson and Trent, going over their form over the last few years, I mean, I should be able to beat Everton, right? Surely with half that team there, you should be able to work it out. Is Klopp run out of excuses? Has he run out of ideas? Is his time up?
Oh, I don't think Klopp will ever run out of excuses. I mean, he's the definitely the world beater there. But they're Liverpool in crisis. Sacking Klopp is not the answer, by the way. He's the guy to bring them back, actually. We're talking about, Sultan mentioned sort of £25 million net spend. I mean, that sounds great, right? But I think he's absolutely drained every ounce out of these players trying to achieve that £25 million net spend. Maybe he's been training them so hard over the last 3 or 4 seasons to get where they were, and they had some great success. They just run out of steam. I mean, Darwin Nunez on paper, these guys, Cody Gakpo look brilliant, don't they? And you said hit and miss. I mean, literally, that's what he does. He hits and he misses. He just can't seem to score. I mean, tomorrow it's going to be really interesting, isn't it? I mean, in a couple of seasons, that was you put your house on Liverpool winning. I think the best Liverpool probably get is a draw out of that game. Yeah, and they're at home as well, so that's saying something.
Yeah, G.
Yeah, I think as much as I like seeing Liverpool in this position, I think they should be winning something, right? Because the players you've just mentioned, on their day they can turn it on, and I think none of them have really sort of turned it on. I think Salah's the real big misnomer for me, because the season that him and Son won the Golden Boot, I thought at some point, we were talking about Messi comparisons, right? He was at that sort of level where anything he touched ended up in the back of the net. Everyone can see what the problem is, and we can call it the Polo Club, and we can call it whatever you want. But ultimately, that midfield needs sorting because there's a big gap in it. And I think that's the area they should have sort of reinforced. And I know Enzo went to Chelsea, but I think Liverpool should have made more of a play in terms of trying to get him. Because if you've got that sort of net spend, then you're fine on the FFP stuff. They could have shipped some stuff. They could have put longer term contracts in or whatever. There just doesn't seem to be any sort of impetus from them to do anything apart from close the books out for the sale. And I think that translates onto the pitch as well, because, as people have mentioned before, when Andy Robertson came on, he has been amazing for 4 to 5 seasons, right? Let's not take away from him. Trent, as many assists as this kid has given, I genuinely think Everton are going to overrun them in the midfield, because if I look at the Everton midfield, they're strong, they're solid, they're a unit, and they will put a lot of pressure on the 17-year-old kid in midfield if he starts. So I can see Everton actually knocking another 3-0 against them, and I think that puts real pressure on Klopp, because Mario Lemina was available. Yeah, so there are players out there like that. You could have come and fixed that problem that's in midfield, or even got a loan in. And I know Melo didn't work out because he's a crock in terms of injuries, but I think overall, there is a rebuild that's needed. Klopp is the guy to lead it, and I think given Klopp 200, 300, 400 million, whatever it is that's needed, you're back in the top 4 next season.
Yeah. Sage, your thoughts, mate? Klopp Klopp has been amazing for Liverpool. But he did have a young team. He did have, a young Mane, a Salah, and Firmino, etc. A young Hendo in his prime. Are all these excuses valid about these players having aged and not being replaced? Or do you think that this team is good enough to be still fighting around the top 4, top 5? Has Klopp also underperformed?
It's a combination of all those things, because I even said, I think, is it last week or last episode, I must have said, I said this to Liverpool fans from 2 seasons ago, you've got an aging midfield. You guys need to boost up your midfield. I've been saying this. And it's a combination of Klopp being naive and not taking the initiative of going into the transfer window and telling the owners that we need backing right now. We need extra players. We need legs. We can't just rely on the youngsters. I see Naby Keita there. Half of the time, that guy's injured. Really and truly. I call him half a player. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Not even half, not 90% of the time.
See what I'm saying? So you can't rely on players like that. And Klopp didn't take it on board to be like, you know what, I might need to replace Keita or bring someone else in just because he's unreliable. Thiago as well, he's a big miss. He's a very big miss, but he needs that supportive character like a Fabinho. But Fabinho, again, aging character as well. So it's a combination of all those things. Right now, Klopp really needs to put it together. I don't think Liverpool are going to get top 8, personally. I don't even think they're going to get top 8. Maybe just get 8th, but I don't get close to top 6 if they don't address these issues. And how I saw Everton play against Arsenal with that loss, which really hurt, I really think Liverpool might lose at home. As VJ said, they might be lucky to get a draw, to be honest with you. Like, So I actually put this down to Klopp though, because he knew. Let's be real. He's a top manager. He knew these issues were gonna come along at some point. He knew it. Every manager knows when a player's aging, slowing down, not doing the same stuff that you're telling him to do on the pitch. You see these things. So again, you're in the transfer window. You want to go Gakpo. Okay, you bought Gakpo to help with the Luis Diaz situation. I agree with that. He done the right thing on that accord. But you will still have a midfield problems. He still didn't bring no one in. So I'll put this down to Klopp, to be honest with you. And that's my opinion.
Fair enough, man. And respect you for putting it where you believe it should be. I mean, Newcastle after Everton tomorrow. Sultan is looking tense, mate. Klopp might not be in a job in 3 games. He might walk himself if he's a man of that much dignity and pride. He might say, my time's up here, I'm done, and I don't want to leave these fans suffering any longer. I can't do any more than what I've done. He's pretty much given you every trophy you can imagine and want. So no one could ever say Klopp's done a bad job. It's just that Liverpool are currently in a rut.